good real estate is always gonna be valuable. Certain corners like Interquest, up near like the Air Force Academy, people are just going to go buy and shop all the time. So I think the opportunity to buy the right property, marry the property, date the rate, right? And that might take some partnerships, but money's a little bit,
I like that, Mark. That's quotable. You heard that?
Welcome, everyone. My name is Rodney Gullatte, and I'd like to welcome you to the show. Here we talk about business. We talk about life. We talk about the personal backgrounds and expertise of some really amazing business owners, experts, members of our Black Chamber of Commerce in the community here in Colorado Springs. And we love the place that we're filming at. Thank you to the SCP Hotel for being our host for a wonderful location here at 2850 South Circle Drive here in Colorado Springs. Amount of their proceeds go to we.org. They plant trees to help us breathe. Very environmentally conscious company, and we really, really fortunate to be able to use this space. So thank you so much, SCP Hotel. Also want to give a special shout out to Guerrilla Media, an incredible media company, a really proud member of the Colorado Springs Black Chamber of Commerce and the Colorado Springs family. They do amazing work like this show you're seeing today. You've seen commercials. You've seen a lot of live streams of events here in Colorado Springs. So Guerrilla Media is an amazing organization. If you're looking to live stream anything, if you're at the City Odd trying to do events, call these folks to live stream for you. Thank you to all the people who have used them for projects, and you'll see more from them in the future. I'd like to introduce my lovely co-host, Dr. Kenya Lee, also a board member for the Colorado Springs Black Chamber of Commerce and co-owner, CEO of Purely Redefined. Welcome, Kenya.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here with us today.
Of course.
And we have our special guest that we'll be interviewing today, Marc and Mary Lou Fulson. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Show.
Good to
Welcome
see you,
the
fam.
show, brother.
Thank you.
Welcome, my sister. Good to
So
have
great
you folks
to have
here.
you guys.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having
We're
us.
excited.
It's
Yeah.
good to be here with the good doctor, not a PhD, MD. That's a big
MD,
difference,
that's right.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Yes.
We're honored to be with you guys today.
So you guys look great today. I can obviously
you.
tell. One of you is an interior designer, based on your really awesome clothing, and your sock game is immaculate.
I'm
brother.
growing.
I don't know if we're able to get any close-ups of these
Wakanda
socks.
forever,
but
though.
Your sock game is
We'll
is
shoot
off the
those
chain.
at the end.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we'll shoot those at the end. So I wanted to ask you, your expertise is in commercial real estate.
Correct.
Your expertise is in interior design.
Mhm.
How did you find your way to these professions?
Yeah, that's a great question. Actually, it started a long time ago, about 20 years ago. When I graduated from the Air Force Academy, I started my investing career. I was reading like Rich Dad, Poor Dad and realizing, hey, I want to have an Air Force career, but I kind of want to build wealth. And so I was getting a haircut, like everybody does. The barbershop is a community environment. And
Yeah.
I was like, hey, so do you own this company? He's like, no, I don't own the company. Who owns the company? That guy owns the company. I rent a chair. All right. Does that guy own the building? No, I don't own the building. So I tried to talk him into it. Then I realized, I'm going to buy a building for these guys. And so I started looking for properties in the middle of the snow in February. And my broker was like, hey, how well do you know this guy? I was like, well, he cuts a mean haircut and he's pretty funny, buy him a building, right? Not a big problem.
Good people.
Good people, right? I'm gonna buy the building. He's like, well, that's a lot of risk, actually.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, who talks you out of buying something? And so wanted up becoming a long-term friend. He was a Jesus follower. I'm a Jesus follower as well. And along the journey, we kept buying more real estate, single-family homes, multi-units. And my lovely bride, I was like, she finished up at UCCS. I went to Air Force Academy, and I was like, come on down to Colorado. We're gonna live good and live in one unit of a fourplex apartment. And
Yeah.
she's like,
In
wait,
New Mexico. Yeah.
small town, Alamogordo, New Mexico. You're seeing like these broken down buildings on the way from Colorado Springs down to there, 8-hour
I did cry as
drive.
the mountain
Hard
slowly,
pass.
like
Yeah. The mountains slowly were in my rearview mirror, and I was like, where am I going?
She's like, I didn't sign up for this. I thought I was gonna be
So-
living the veteran life at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. It's
Little
like,
Eglin.
no,
Yeah.
garden spot. So we lived in one of the units, and as they came vacant, I was like, yeah, let me throw some white paint on them and
Mhm.
get it filled. And Mary's like, whoa, let's add a little color.
I could do a little better than that. So.
Yeah, you can tell them the rest from there.
Okay, so then we just did property management with our fourplex, and then we moved from New Mexico to Los Angeles. Actually, that's not true. We went to New Mexico, to Las Vegas, to Los Angeles. But on the way there, I'm a formal education kind of person. And so I said, I really want to study this and I want to become like really good at this. And I don't want to just DIY. And so when we were in LA, I went to UCLA for interior architecture. And that was it was the 2 years before the master's that you get there. And so I finished that program and now I'm a designer. So
She's not just a designer. She is an architect. Did y'all hear that?
An interior architect, yeah.
Right, an interior architect. You have a power couple right here. We can have somebody help you find your space,
Yes.
and then we have somebody who can help you design or refine your
Yes.
space. Correct? Your
Yes.
space. Correct?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's very kind.
It is
Yes.
all
Thank
in
you.
one
you.
place. So this is the
Yeah.
first stop.
Yeah, because a lot of people wonder,
So-
like, all right, is it two companies or one company? It's actually one company, Fulson and Company. We just have a division for interior design and architecture, for like building homes, renovating homes, and styling. I didn't know the term styling. I was like, yes, this decorating. It's like, oh, styling.
Picking stuff out. I was
Sourcing.
like, no, I'm not picking stuff out.
No,
but yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
yes.
so all the beautiful things you see here, the couches and the rugs.
Yeah, it was all
Um,
selected and sourced by some
It's very
designer, so-
intentional.
Yes.
Is what
it all
she
ties
said.
Yes.
together.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we have the brokerage side, mainly commercial real estate, but like family and friends. I do like the residential stuff as well. And we have found that opportunity. We're passionate about this because home, right?
Yeah.
Home and business, either at work or at home all the time. And home is like where your memories are made. And so I did not know what Mary Lou was signing up for when she first did that program, but it was intense. Yeah, well, we'll let you we'll tell some stories about that later, but I want to
It
go
doesn't
on.
matter. You survived it.
Yeah,
survived
Y'all
it.
get there.
Yeah, and you're doing really good on the other side.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's
That's
been a
right.
blessing. It's
So
been a
so
journey.
let's talk Colorado Springs, El Paso County real estate.
Okay.
What is the market and the environment looking like right now?
That's a great question. So it kind of depends what you're looking at, right? Like buying property, obviously, on the commercial side, getting financing is a little bit more difficult. The
Why?
interest rates are higher. The market's got a little instability, right? What we say is market rates go up, rates go down, but the one thing we can guarantee is that they're going to fluctuate. But good real estate, like this property, SCP, wow, they're just shaping our whole city. So if wait, I have Pikes Peak views, I'm near Tinseltown, a brand new property, Alta, that just went from the Hotel Elegante, which was okay, to like now like apartments, and it has like luxury and affordability. Good real estate is always going to be valuable. Certain corners like Interquest, up near like the Air Force Academy, people are just going to go buy and shop all the time. So I think the opportunity to buy the right property, marry the property, date the rate, right? And that might take some partnerships, but money's a little bit,
I like that, Mark. That's quotable. You heard that? Buy the property, date
So
Great.
marry the property,
marry
date
the
rate.
property, date the
Right.
rate.
And I think Dave Ramsey said that once.
Like
I didn't. I wasn't the original thought.
Giving it
but
to you.
Thank you. All
Giving it
right.
to you. But
Mark Fulson's
I
bad.
will also put the credit to whoever gave it to you.
Citation
Attribution,
there.
yes, thank you.
Repurpose.
Yeah, because that neighborhood, like this is the time to
Yeah.
find some deals, right? Like
Yeah.
people maybe bought a little bit too much house, or people have a ton of equity.
Well, let's talk how can they find deals?
Yeah, so the best way to find deals is to find a broker, right? A lot of people feel like, oh yeah, I'm just going to look on the internet. I'm not going to build any relationships, but with commercial brokers and residential brokers, we get $0 until we do a deal. But making that commitment, saying, hey, I'm going to work with you, Mark, or whoever. You don't have to work with us. I'm not for everybody, but hire a professional. If it's a commercial person, make sure they have commercial listings, right? Some people say they do both and they actually don't have the skill set, right? Find somebody that has listings or has mentorship. Like my mentor has been doing it for 33 years. The guy
Same,
that talked me out of buying a property, we've been friends for 18 years. I had to beg him for 18 months to say, hey, can I learn this craft? He's like, no, there's no money in it. It's a business you can make hundreds of dollars. I was like, wait, what? Hold on a second, $100. But it is a hard business. And kind of getting his endorsement, because there's so much liability. Like you're buying a multi-million-dollar hotel and making it this beautiful, eco-friendly, gorgeous space. If you get something wrong, you're going to get sued by both parties. You don't want somebody dabbling. You want a professional, right? And on the residential side, there's residential brokers. There's plenty of them. On the commercial side, there's only about 70 of us in town. And we're kind of weird. We're quirky. We don't pick up the phone for everybody just because a lot of looky-loos will call us and try to do a deal, but once again, it's liability. If like the other broker has no experience, it puts all the burden on that broker that has experience. If anything goes wrong with their client, the seller or the buyer or the tenant, or the landlord and stuff like that. Because we also help out with people like a business, like Purely Refined. They're expanding, they're bursting at the seams. If they are, looking for more space, it might not be a purchase. It might be just leasing more space. That's what commercial brokers, we help out with that as well. Actually, that's what we do primarily. And the nice thing about it is we could lease them some space. And then there's this thing called tenant finish, where you get the landlord to say, hey, I'll give you $80,000, I'll give you $100,000 to build out your space. Sometimes they don't give it to you up front. They want a reimbursement because they want to make sure they're going to get the money back. But that's your opportunity to hire a professional designer to say, hey, this is your dream. This is your occupation. Don't do it yourself. Get a professional to provide that experience that you really want and stuff like that, And Mary Lou's was trained on commercial real estate as well.
Yeah, so then I come in and I say, okay, what is your brand? And talk me through like your client experience. And then we create a plan to just really focus and talk to that. So when your client comes in, your space reflects who your ideal client is.
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, because people spend more money.
So
when
what
it's
I hear
beautiful.
you guys saying is get professional help.
Get professional help.
Yeah. And there's so much more that goes into both what property you either purchase or lease and how you design it, because customer experience matters, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
what types of things do you use to inform your design for each individual client?
Well, just the whole space in total, it will inform that. So like this space that we're in right now, it's giving us very like eco-friendly, like you said. So that we're seeing that through like their natural wood and the leathers and like the natural tones. And so I use hard surface materials like your flooring, your countertops, lighting, and then like softer things that you touch, like where you're going to sit, seating arrangements, how you want to interact with your client, like if it's a doctor's office, like what your reception desk looks like, everything like that.
Don't you think that design speaks to basically the whole personality and whatever it is that you're just trying to sell or the service that you're offering? It's very deeply personal, and it really does create a feeling.
And it's reflecting your brand, too.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So everything in there needs to speak
important to
that.
get it right.
Yes,
exactly. That's what you're saying.
Yes, very important.
Yeah.
Because if you walk in and it's not giving you your client experience, like your space is not speaking to that, then it gives the client a question like, should I trust this person? Do they know what they're doing? And you're not thinking about that all the time.
Or consciously.
It's subconscious. Like they're like, something's not right. Like I don't feel comfortable. And so you need to make sure that it's right.
It's like, I will not go to a fitness instructor if they don't look how I want to look.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm not sure about your skills.
Yeah. A lot more
I hear
is
exactly what you're
perceived
saying.
before you even get to the counter, right? Like I got a restaurant, you don't even taste the food, but the minute you walk in those doors, what you see, your smell, the uniform, everything, right?
Yes.
And the logo, the branding, it sets the tone. It's all planned. And if you kind of, watch a couple of YouTube videos and try to make it up a little bit, you might not get that beautiful experience that because like some people, when you're starting a company, I'm sure you both have, IT company, firm IT, get some IT services from this young man right here.
Thanks.
All right. What he does with the Black Chamber is not free. He's giving his own time, but that company, you dream about it for years. So when you're about to launch, let the space say, this is the brand. And then they'll spend more money, right? They'll take pictures saying, hey, look at me at the spa. Hey, look at me at look my sandwich, right?
Yes.
And so when Mary Lou went to UCLA, I didn't realize how difficult it was going to be. Like we're doing trigonometry and working AutoCAD and SketchUp. Like I thought it was going to be just picking out pillows. No, it was like learning the code for commercial buildings.
And a lot of it was hand drafting. I spent 2 years hand drafting on my like draft board. I had like calluses on my finger. I don't do as much hand drafting anymore, but so it was a lot.
Yeah, and the reason why they're so serious about the hand drafting is they want you to know the art of it, right? Like buildings have been around. Like you just went to Europe, which
Don't tell all my secrets.
All right, I won't tell your secret.
You can edit that out.
All right. Can you?
Kenya took a trip.
Kenya just took a trip. You know, we've all taken trips over.
Vacation is allowed.
Yes, take a vacation.
Necessary.
No, it is.
But
yeah.
you know, we all take vacations, and we've been to,
Yes.
you know, Egypt, you know, Kenya. We've been to South Africa. We've been to Europe, Milan. You know, all these places. Buildings and architecture and spaces have been around for hundreds of years. So timeless and classic is a big part of what we do as a brand,
Yeah.
because all the fads, you'll go into a space and say, oh, that space was built in 2010.
Yeah.
And some people are just copying what they've been doing in 2010, and they're buying homes or building out spaces in 2023 that look like they're 13 years old on opening day.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
we want to spare people that. We want to be a breath of fresh air to clients here in Colorado
Yeah.
Springs.
So
Do you have a particular design aesthetic, and what do you love to do, Mary?
Yeah, I really do love timeless and classic. So when I say that, just something that when you walk into the room, like the design is just so good that you can't tell when it was done, but it still looks good today. So I like scale, like the scale needs to be right, like meaning like this couch can't be too big or too small for the room. And balance, I like a lot of symmetry.
Mhm.
And I like color too. Color is really nice. I do.
you don't say.
I know. It's like, so, but yeah, I just try to steer my clients away from the trends. So you can do something trendy, but it needs to be something that you can get rid of. But nothing like of your hard surface materials. Like, please, like no more black windows. We can't do that.
Yeah.
So like black windows in new architectural buildings of your homes. So
Interesting.
because like Mark was saying, it looks like, oh, did you put that in like the 2020, 2023? So it's automatically, it's like a
Dated.
something, yes, it's dated,
Yeah.
and it's something that's permanent in your house, or it's not permanent, but it's going to be hard and
It's
expensive,
expensive to change.
change.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so you don't want to do trendy things that are more permanent.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a commercial real estate question
Sure.
that's bothering me right now.
Yes.
So I had a conversation with a colleague, and he told me, Rodney, I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna bother you every time, and I apologize ahead of time.
Okay.
But when you want to see how many Black-owned buildings that we own or don't own, you know, drive from here back to Colorado Springs. We were in Denver. Just drive between Denver and Colorado Springs and count how many Black-owned buildings
Yeah.
you see.
That's a great question.
And it's going to bother you for a long time. And it did. It still bothers me
Yeah.
driving around. How many buildings we don't own.
Yeah.
How many do we have?
How, yeah. And
Very good
But-
question,
yeah.
Mary Lou.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I will take that
yes.
homework assignment.
Okay,
I know
you
of,
heard it. Y'all heard it.
I
He's
know
gonna
of-
look it up for us.
like, I don't know about buildings they own, but I only know of like maybe 2 owners of commercial real estate that are African American.
Yeah.
There might be more, but because unfortunately in our city, there's, you know, white supremacy is a thing, and people tend to want to hide their net worth. They're afraid that their buildings or their businesses won't be
Profitable. Should we take
patroned
that?
and frequent. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm a Jersey hand talker. So
yeah, right
Yeah.
on.
New dance, y'all.
Exactly.
The Mark Fulson.
That's amazing.
Yep, that's a clip.
See, they
Right
recorded
there.
it.
That'll be on
Trademark.
YouTube.
But there's not enough, and I think one of the challenges, access to capital.
Yes.
Right? We can't
Speak
have
on
that
it.
mindset of this is my deal, right? We might have to collaborate, right? Like the example is, I won't use a brand because I won't promote a brand, but you see food halls popping up all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
For a small business, you know, a small Black-owned business, to have a 4,000 square foot space downtown Colorado Springs, that's going to cost you $9,000 a month, right? Just did a lease like that, right? And so not everybody can foot that bill. But if there's 4 restaurants and we have room for 4 other restaurants that do like little mini stations, now we're all paying, you know, $1,500 a month. Shoot, we might even make a little bit of a profit.
Yeah.
And it's like the reason like we don't have like a, you know, little Harlem or, you know, little Lagos, you know, in Colorado Springs, I'm gonna coin that one too.
Black
is
Wall Street, yeah.
if we bought a property where we collaborate together saying, hey, I'm a residential guy and somebody's a restaurant person, right? Hey, let's buy this building together. Our dollar goes further,
Yeah.
you know, because, you know, I have a client right now, I'm shopping. They have an awesome catering company and a food truck. Creole Roots, go get some, right?
Okay.
But I'm looking at the price per square foot, and there's a wall in our city. As you go north, there's a financial price gap where it's like, you're getting into the $35, $40, $50,000, per square foot. So for a small, tiny restaurant, you're paying
Total.
I know.
per square foot. And so in commercial real estate, they pay per square foot, right?
So it's $50 a square foot. Sorry, you said 50,000.
Yeah, no, $50 a square foot. I'm sorry.
$50, okay.
Yeah.
$50 a square foot. So 1,000 square foot space, it's going to cost you $6,000 a month for 1,000 square feet plus triple nets, and that's like another $10. So you could be $7,500 for
We don't know
1,000
what
square.
triple nets are.
Yeah, triple nets are like expenses, like utilities. Thank you, my dear love. So we balance each other out. She helps me with the commercial brokerage and the
I see.
translating.
Yeah, y'all been married for a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. On the design side, I do a lot of mansplaining, saying, "Hey guys, open a wallet. Your home is your biggest investment, but we need to own more properties, and we need to collaborate and find ways together."
Resource
Yeah,
sharing.
resource sharing.
This is what we say in medicine all the time
Yeah.
is we're resource sharing. So if you have a small practice, instead of ordering all of your supplies individually, we order them collectively
Yeah.
because in bulk we get lower prices.
Exactly.
And then it's easier to afford. And I love that idea. I think you and I have had this conversation
Yeah.
before. And
It's gonna happen.
No, it ain't gonna be a building. It's gonna be a block or
Amen.
10
I
or
love
20.
it. Let's
right?
go.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
about-
do this.
You heard it here.
But it's about collectively using our resources for the advantage of the community,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And you got people right here that wants to help us do that.
yeah, and the whole city benefits. The
Yeah.
city needs to come, even people that don't look like that, they need to
100%.
come alongside us
100%.
because if our businesses aren't represented in a whole sector of the town or out east or up north, they're missing out on Colorado Springs. Like, because we are Colorado Springs. Mary Lou's 5th generation Colorado. Her story, the Morgan family's been here for, over 100 years.
Yeah.
People should experience that, whether it be the food they eat, the IT solutions, the spa care, non-medical procedures you get.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain flavor, the music
Yep.
that we play, right?
100%.
employees that we
It's
hire.
about culture. It's
Yeah.
about art. It's really about belonging. And you got to create the space that doesn't exist for you.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
instead of just saying, oh, that's okay, I guess I don't. No, we all belong here. We all have the right to thrive
Yeah.
here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's about figuring out how we do that as a
Yeah.
community.
Yeah, and the best tangible way to get something like that started is to say, hey, we're going to do it, and we're going to put in $200 a month. Like, hey, everybody put in $500 to start this LLC. Everybody put $200 a month, because it's not going to pay for a lot, but it gets people committed, right? So say 20 of us say, we're going to do this. When everybody says, hey, time to put your $500 up. We're starting an LLC for this venture and $200 a month. You get to figure out who's talking and who's serious.
Yeah.
But if you do that, as you're looking for a property, you build momentum. Then all of a sudden you can pay for an earnest money check or for the legal fees to get your LLC set up or
Yeah.
your contract set up. But I
Yeah.
think that's the best way to start. You don't have to have a ton of money to get that conglomerate started.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
really how they did Tulsa back in 1920s.
I didn't
Is they pooled their resources. And then when new businesses wanted to start, the people who were already established helped them to get
Yes.
started. And they, provided low cost rental
Yes.
spaces or whatever it was they needed to sustain and grow those businesses.
You're spot on.
And
You're
we
spot
know
on.
we know the demise of Tulsa
Yeah.
back then and why it was destroyed. Do you think that has scarred us to the point that we don't do that now?
That's a really good question.
That's a loaded question.
No. I think
Wiped out a whole town.
I'll let
Oh,
Mary
no,
Lou.
it's
That wasn't the
loaded
only.
question.
That wasn't the only city.
I know.
We all know that.
I know.
And
Yeah.
Miseducation of the Negro. I'm in the middle of reading that now. It's only got before. There's
You're
a chapter
welcome.
where.
Dr. Marvin. says
Yeah,
you're welcome.
thank you, Dr. Marvin. Carter G. Woodson, Miseducation of the Negro. You need to check it out. A lot of knowledge in there.
Yeah, that's
You will have to decompress it though, so make sure you give yourself time to process. But he talks about that pooling of resources because we can't solely rely on things outside of our community to pour into us to make that happen. We have to do that ourselves.
Yeah,
But
I'll
when we
let
did
Mary
it
Lou.
before we got destroyed. Has that scarred us? Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you see that a lot in your profession? That you see a lot of, well-educated, Black professionals coming together, pulling their money to buy these buildings?
Yeah.
You see that a lot in your
I think
travels?
so. I'm not sure. I don't know if I have the answer to that. I think in the Black people that I know that are doing really well for themselves, they seem to just integrate into
Yeah.
society
Assimilate, yeah.
or assimilate.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of no. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, like what I've seen is, one of our clients, successful Montessori school, Mount Willow Montessori school,
Yeah.
beautiful opportunity. Young Black woman, good friends of ours for many years. They just started, we're helping look to lease a building, but the cost of leasing a space and building a bathroom, like these landlords want you to put like hundreds of $1,000s into their building
Yep.
that they get to keep, like for a bathroom or a beautiful bar
Right.
that Mary Lou can design, right? Fulson Company can design. And you know what? She was blessed to have relationships and found alliances, right? And some of them had to be outside the community, but they got the deal done. And so I think one of the challenges is I'm not seeing a lot of that, and I'm actually working to try to, like, restaurateurs, like restaurants, they go under all the time. So we got the food truck folks. I met a nice young African-American couple and a Puerto Rican gentleman as well that have food trucks, and they're just getting started. They're hopeful, but they need that mentorship of people that, like the owner of the Bonefish Grill, Hank, like
Hank.
that dude's been crushing it. Like,
Love you, Hank.
We're send business there as well. But that we got to tie that chain together. How does that person that has that food truck sit at the feet of somebody like Hank and say, hey, how can I pay you for consultation? How can I learn from you and earn your trust? It's about trust, right? Because
Is Bonefish Grill, is it a franchise?
it is a franchise, but it's
Maybe
owned by
like we don't need to be reinventing the wheel and just like follow a plan. I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes it's be successful, right? Because sometimes people feel like, hey, I'm a good cook. I want to have a restaurant, or I'm good at the gym, so I can open a gym. There's a lot of entrepreneurial elements. So sometimes partnerships reduce risk because you have somebody who's more analytical. Like Mary Lou is very detail oriented, and I'm more like, hey, marketing, and
He's our visionary.
I meet friends everywhere, right? But we need both of that. Like there was two of me, we would fail.
The other thing I think that we need is we need the people who are more established to have that mindset where they're always looking back to bring the next one up and hope that the next one surpasses where they are. The question that you asked, do you think we're scarred from it? We're scarred for so many things, right? Even the legacy of slavery, where we were separated based on our skin tone, based on whether we lived in the house or we worked in the field. There's so many things that impact that. But just because it happened doesn't mean we have to continue following that same mentality. It's time to change it. You said we're in 2023 and we don't want housing or rental spaces or business spaces that look like they were built in 2013.
Yeah.
Well, let's let the 1860s go.
Yeah, you're right.
And let's move on into 2023.
You're right. And you're right. And I kind of did sidestep the question because it probably hurts. But we are
It does,
because we don't trust. Right, it comes down to trust.
That's
like,
in the book too.
But again, by design, right?
Yeah, so
we were pitted against one another.
Yeah, and so I think we have to find opportunities through relationship, right? I think gathering, like we're doing like once a month with the Black Chamber, that helps build trust. Like, oh, we know each other, we work together, right? So that's a plug. Don't Mondays, like be there. So by getting to know each other, then it's like, oh, because you can't just come in and say, hey, Mary Lou, I have this design concept and can I do this $200,000 kitchen and can you finance it for us? Like, whoa, we don't do financing. We know lenders, but if I'm gonna introduce you to my lender, we need to know who you are. Like you're consistent.
And know, like, and trust you.
Yeah. And then my mentor said, there's men and women walking around with gold in between their ears. And nobody asks them any questions. Yeah. I think our elders need to reach down, but it's really, if we want the capital, like, hey,
gotta go ask.
Can you help me do this boutique hotel? It costs, say, $700,000 and I need 1.3 to bring it up to code and make it beautiful, furnish it for like a short-term Airbnb. I'm talking about a project, sorry. Can't help it. But it's like that's a very specific vignette.
Yeah, it's very specific.
Yeah.
But to get that capital, I have to humble myself and say, graybeard, man or woman, right? There's some super successful, right? Barbara, she has a construction company here in town. Barbara Myrick.
Big ups.
If you're going to ask her for some money, partner with you, you have your stuff together and you better build a relationship. It might take 2 years, but we have to go seek that information and stuff like that. Like we've sought them out because we're in the construction business, very male dominated. And I think Mary Lou, everybody looks at me like, oh, Mark, are you the construction guy? No, Mary Lou's the one telling the trades.
I'm not doing the work, but I'm painting the vision.
Yeah, she's telling the trades what to do. Like, hey,
GC,
light fixtures here, plumbers there.
Yeah.
But, Barbara having that experience has helped kind of say, how do you navigate that space?
It's really good you said that because in Carter G. Woodson's book, Miseducation of the Negro, I'm gonna quote it because I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm pulling all kinds of notes. He says that we can get ourselves out of this situation and buy all this stuff if we just trust each other. They said the reason the Black-owned banks were failing is because we didn't trust that the top of our community could run a successful bank. And no matter what kind of bank you are, people don't have trust in your banking institution. They pull their money out, and
It's over.
you're gonna die if they pull their money out.
Yeah.
So
Well, I also love what you said when you said go and meet and establish a relationship with
Yes.
people like Miss Myrick, right?
Yeah.
It is about, again, collectiveness. It's a collective mind.
Yeah.
I really truly feel that we are not going to get out of this situation or overcome this if we don't do it as a group. So my success depends on your success, and
Yeah.
yours
Yes.
upon mine, and yours and yours.
Yeah.
So let's help each other get there.
Yeah.
Again, open up your network when people ask you.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask. But also, what that tells me is that we're not getting funded by traditional methods.
Yeah.
You're basically suggesting kind of like an angel funding type thing where you
Yeah.
find somebody else. So,
Angel investors. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
or we make
there's
our
a
own bank.
problem
Yeah.
with access to capital, and it's structural.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, what do you see, since you're working with so many people who are looking for property or looking for new design and being able to fund that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, one of the challenges, well, first of all, with building homes, right? A lot of times people don't have it. Like, my recommendation is, you're building a home or building a space, get a designer on your team first. Maybe not first, or top three. But there's three distinct positions. You want to tell them about the three-legged stool?
Go ahead.
Okay. So it's the architect, it's the designer, and the general contractor. They are not the same. Like, like the Trinity, they all have different roles and stuff like that.
And they all have to be paid.
And yeah, they all got to be paid.
Yes,
Amen.
they do.
Yes.
And so the nice thing about having that team is it helps you forecast. So when you're building that dream home or you're building out your restaurant, all right, if my budget is X, what percentage needs to be set aside for, if you want like a nice live edge table or marble countertops, or you want to have a nice water feature, or mosaic tile.
Yeah.
You can book some of that ahead of time versus saying, all right, I got into the deal and now I have 17% of my budget left, and you needed 40% to finish the space for your ideal client, because your ideal client is going to know, right? And so even with commercial deals, right, like the residential piece, when you're building a custom home, like, people tend to forget, you should set aside 25% for furnishings. So like when you look at Netflix and all these different brands and you see, oh my God, like what an amazing design show. They don't care about the bricks and sticks. They care about styling. Like most of the shows are about like most of your experience.
I think what you're trying to say is that like if you just build something and then you don't furnish it, like you're not getting the look that you're seeing in the magazines or like Pinterest or whatnot. It's not complete. And so if you don't plan for that, but I felt like that wasn't the original question.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You feel free to answer the question. I tend to.
I would totally watch this show on
Yeah.
HGTV
Sorry.
for sure.
So-
But the original question was about,
Yeah.
are we getting lending?
Yes. What
Okay.
are you actually seeing
Okay.
as to people actually being approved for
Yeah.
this? And the other, it's kind of a two-part question too, because
Sure.
what I have noticed is that even when we do get funding, we don't get the same amount of funding as some of our white counterparts.
Yeah.
Or the same
And
rates.
or
I
the
think
same
it's a
rate.
problem.
And
Yeah.
you know that the money is what stifles a business. There'd be
Yeah.
a lot more Black businesses still in businesses or starting if there was access to
Yeah.
capital. So I'm just wondering what you're
Well,
seeing.
honestly, like for us personally, when we just we got a home equity line, and in order to like qualify it, we took down everything that looked like this could be a Black home. We made it as whitewashed and vanilla as completely possible. And I suggest my friends do that too.
Yeah, I had another
Like,
person at my church that had to do that when
Yeah.
we were doing a refinance.
so yeah, it is. It's
They
a
had
problem.
to
they
de-black their home.
yeah.
Yes.
Because what happens is when the assessor comes in, they will devalue the home when they see it's a person of color. And because the home is most of the time our single source of wealth, if they're devaluing it, now your wealth is cut in half. Now, when you apply
Your
for a
buying
home equity
power.
loan,
Mhm.
you either get a little or you don't get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've been
Yeah.
tracking
Right?
that
I
online.
even I even
Yeah.
had my white friend.
There's
You
lots
have
of
your
stories
white
about
I
friend
had my white
meet
friend.
the person
Yes,
who's
I had my white
valuing
friend
the home.
open the
Wow.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
It's
know
real.
exactly what you're
So,
saying. I know
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that it still happens. And
Yeah.
hopefully when you all are listening to this, we'll do something to make it change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Because
and what
it
could
just it's not
But in the
good for
meantime-
the greater community.
Go find, was it White Avatar? Is that what they call it? On, was it
Is that app on your
Atlanta?
phone?
It was the Atlanta show
Yeah.
on Hulu.
Well,
Yeah.
one
Oh, that's
thing,
what they said?
That's-
yeah,
I-
and kind of to that point is part of it is vulnerability, right? It goes back to that trusting each other and processing the scars of distrust that have been placed there by European Americans, right? That's what I call them, right? You know, if I'm African American, somebody's European American. But get that mentorship to say, hey, I'm about to apply for this loan. This is my plan, and present that to mentors, and they're gonna might throw some stones at it or make them a partner. Because if somebody that has, say, $3 million to invest in your business or your commercial property or your custom home,
Now, Mark, you know we don't know a whole bunch of people with $3 million to invest in our homes.
but no, and actually
I'm saying most of us do not.
that's true.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
true. But I think there's more out there in Colorado than we think, right? But they probably keep it real quiet. And they're a lot of, I have a good friend that doesn't want anybody to know how much money they make.
Okay, y'all talk to Mark. He knows people.
Hey,
That's what I heard. Yeah.
it's true. Because a lot of times it's about mentorship, right? Like, how do I, before I even meet the banker,
Yeah.
I have a strategy. Because it's like a chess game. So that, yeah, you're right. Like in these commercial spaces, like the brokers, the bankers, they don't look like us. So you could go in there and figure it out on your own. Or you could say, hey, Barbara's bought and sold a couple buildings, right? She's built a couple of these buildings. Get her to mentor you, saying, all right, this is my financial stuff. This is my pro forma, right? Oh, the banks don't like pro forma. They want actuals, right? They don't care about what you could do or like a Wikipedia page you found about starting your business. They want to see that you've proven it. Well, how can I prove my business if I don't have a space already?
Right.
Well, you better find somebody that has a space, right? I have a friend that built a building. It's about say 5,000 square
He
feet.
knows all the people.
Yeah.
And he built
tracking that.
and
Tracking that, my sister.
he built a small
Yeah.
commercial. Well, this is commercial real estate. The
Yeah.
reason why I'm
Yeah.
in this business, the reason why we're passionate about this business, because construction and brokerage on the commercial side, there is
100%.
no representation. And so we are like see it as a ministry that we're forging into this to provide education and jobs and also to pass that knowledge back. So before you guys put that bank loan in, we're talking about saying, hey guys, if you bring pro forma asking for $1 million loan or $500,000 loan, you're gonna get laughed out of the room. Find some actuals, right? So that story about a big building with he built a big building with a little space and he added a little restaurant in there. We can provide a space and carve out spaces as a little incubator, right? Every established business, if we had a little incubator, 500 square feet, so people, little pop-ups in the Black Chamber could have a little store, then all of a sudden, and design it well, because nobody wants to see like the Walmart special, right? Like
I know
even
it.
your tiny space,
I know it.
space needs design. No matter what your client, whether they're multimillionaires or they're just making it, they deserve good design. And so by making space for these small bases, these little incubators, it's going to help you reduce your rent and you give somebody else opportunity. That could be a partner, right? Like if we own a building one day and I have the 2 incubators, one's always turning over, somebody doesn't follow through. One person pays the rent on time. They're driving clients into my store. Now I'm making money.
Yep.
Shoot, when I want to buy my next building or I'm moving out, hey, Mark, find me a building. You take this space, provide an incubator for that next person, and I'm going to do it at the next space, right? Like, is it the Lincoln Center? I think it's there's an old school.
Oh, Ivy Wild.
Well, there's Ivy Wild, but there's another school. I think I can't think of the name of it.
No.
It's just north of the Old North End. It's like the Lincoln something, whatever. But
I don't know that one. I know
but it's
Ivy
another
Wild.
concept, and it's a big building with a bunch of small spaces, coffee shops.
Yep.
The goat patch is in there. But I love that concept for us because you make a big building, which is
That's
hard
right.
to carry by yourself. You break it into 1,000 square foot chunks.
And you're intentional
Yeah.
about doing business with other Black business
Yeah.
owners. And
Yeah.
I love that alignment as well, because
Yeah.
really, truly, if we're going to build wealth as a community,
Yeah.
we need to lift us all up.
Yeah. Exactly. So you can get ready for
And
the
we have
banks.
a lot of wealth.
We
Like
do.
people,
We do.
yes, yeah.
But
But
we
I
don't
think,
we don't spend it with each other though.
yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
It leaves us.
Yeah.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And
if
so-
we spend it with each other.
That's the dollar
like Dr.
circulation,
Wilson said
right?
again.
That's the dollar
Yeah.
It's
circulation.
like
Yeah.
we just put it back in where we're at.
Yeah.
Right.
The problem will fix itself.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
we have crazy buying power, and you're 100% right, because having that mentorship is how to approach. Hey, if somebody has $3 million to lend you, don't just roll up and start talking about their net worth. It's a private setting. You do some research on how to meet them and what they're into. Like you kind of prepare for that engagement, right? Also talking to the banks, like it's like there's like mentorship and preparation there. Like, hey, we're gonna do a construction loan. As a designer, we know a lot of the GCs in town. We know the architects in town, so we know which ones are going to support your business and believe in your business. Because architects
Yeah.
and
that's
GCs,
a
they can
good
they can
question.
kill your business right
do,
there.
Do you all have within your business alignments with the other two tiers of that three-legged stool?
Yeah, let Mary Lou
Yes.
talk to that
So
piece.
that
Yeah.
when somebody comes to you, it's more like a full service.
Yes.
Okay, tell us
exactly.
about that, Ms.
Yeah.
Mary Lou.
So yeah, I just have a few relationships with architects and GCs who I like to work with. They like to work with me, and then we're working together collaboratively as a team. And so a lot of times there could be like egos, and so we're like, hey, it's not about me, it's not about you, but we're trying to bring out this project together for our client. And so yes, we have relationships where you need the person who's going to build it. So you need your contractor, you need the architect to make sure that it's built to code. They can get plans from the city. And then you need me, who I can also do codes, but I can't get plans from the city for structural. And then you need me for the aesthetics and to make sure that everything is cohesive and it looks the way you want it to look.
And do you all have some kind of incentive for staying within that group? Because it makes your job easier, it makes their job easier. So is there some kind of incentive for the person who decides, I'm going to go with Mary Lou and Mark Fulson because I get this full service, plus I get a price break if I'm using all of these? The answer might be no, and that's
Yeah, that's
okay.
a
I'm
question.
just, I know that the question is in other people's
Yeah, no,
minds.
that's a great question.
Yeah. No, there's not really an incentive as far as like a price break because the cost is kind of,
Fixed.
it's
it
kind
is,
of, it is what it is. But I think the incentive is we already have those relationships. And so you're not out there searching, and we've already dealt with people. We've already like said, okay, we're not working with them again. I do not suggest you work with them. Like we already have those relationships and we know. So that would be, so it's easier. So you're
Yeah.
not coming in blind, but we're there to help you.
So the value statement then is, you know, quality people,
yes.
and you all will get the job done well the first time,
Yes.
Mhm.
Exactly.
and they can rely on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
like our client, our clients are busy. They either own businesses or they're
What?
high powered.
Say,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They don't have time.
You know,
And so
Yes.
I might know.
yeah, and so
Yeah.
we kind of do that legwork, right? And that's the part of the commitment, because like you said, our services aren't free, but once we are part of the team, we are hunting, like we are looking for opportunities, and the cost savings comes from
Time?
The time and
Yeah.
mistakes that are made if you don't.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can be very costly.
Yes,
yeah,
very costly
rework,
mistakes.
or just people just running off with your money. Like that happens
Yeah.
to this day,
That
right?
too.
In the construction community.
Yeah.
And so, like, we have those relationships where we say, hey, this person, and if we can find somebody that believes in the project, like you said, those relationships, all of a sudden a little grace, like maybe the price is more reasonable, or there's new resources saying, hey, there's a collaboration, because every general contractor, every architect, they have a network of their own. But if you're just a client, they're not going to offer that up. But if
Yeah.
they know us,
Yeah,
we give
sometimes.
referrals sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes if it's someone that I worked with multiple times, they'll give me a good price. And it's not like the person who they never want to work with again, that the price will be like way up here. It'll be like, oh, Mary Lou,
Yeah.
she brings me business, she brings me clients. Yeah, this is the price. Like,
Yeah, let me
so
put my
sometimes-
thinking. Yeah, they'll
yeah.
put the thinking cap on and sharpen
Yeah.
the pencil a little bit.
Mhm.
Or something that we also seen is that those architects and GCs, when we pass them business sometimes, like we're not even involved in the project. Either they, unfortunately, it's a very male dominated space. So it's like GC, I must have that by law. Architect, I must have that by law. Designer, it's not a union because it's mainly women that run the space, right? And it's sad because so people don't value designers, and I think that's why like it's been heartbreaking for me. I believe in women's like rights and full pay, and it's been like beautiful and tragic to be part of this business to say, wait, hold on, like people don't think that you're doing like hard real work is like and really good general contractors, they love designers because it takes all the guesswork.
We make their job so much easier because we're telling them exactly what to do. They're not guessing. They're not going to the site going like, what position do you want this sconce? Because I've already given them a plan and said the sconce is 3/4 of an inch off of the mirror. So they already know. So I make their job easier.
Yeah, you should talk about the lookbook as well.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just laughing because you put me on the spot there.
It's okay.
Tell me about that.
I talk too much. That's
Mary
why.
Lou, tell us about the look.
Yes,
What's the lookbook?
What is
so
the
yeah,
lookbook?
so it's just a deliverable that I give to my clients, and so it has all of the specifications, all of your plans, like where everything's going, all of the fixtures that are going into the space, how like the colors, the lighting, it's all there.
Yeah, it's
So
like the
this
master
is
plan.
individualized for each person that you're working with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have like boards of certain styles that these things go
So
together?
at the
or-
beginning, I do a concept board. And so I have like, okay, this is like where we're going visually and aesthetically. So you'll have your lighting, a generalization of like the style of the couch that show like modern or contemporary or traditional. And then from there, if they approve and say, yes, I like this, or no, I don't really like this part of it. Can you fix that? We do one round of revisions. And then
for free. There'll be more,
yes.
but you gotta pay for it.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes,
but you
exactly.
got it.
Yeah.
Have more. You just gotta pay for it.
Exactly. So, and then from there, we go on to a detailed design plan where we do the floor plans, and then it has more specifics like this is the actual sofa, this is the actual rug. Or if it's a space like a business, this is like your coffee table for your guests, or exactly all of that.
So she's going to make it easier for all of you because I'm a bit of a
Perfectionist.
I'm a perfectionist, but I'm
Oh.
also a bargain chaser. I don't like to pay
Okay.
full for anything. So,
Yes.
when I built my house, I literally was searching for tiles for all kinds because I wanted to be able to find and know that I was getting the best price.
Yes.
But I will tell you that took probably 100+ hours
It's
Yeah.
a lot
of my
time.
life, and I'm like, well, how
Yeah.
much do I make an hour? Because I
Boom.
just paid her.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. And my job is not necessarily to find you the very best price, but I do value engineering to
Well,
say
I'm a
but-
price and style, so you can't
Okay.
compromise one for the other.
Well, no, yes. So, but what I can do is say, okay, splurge on this, we can save on this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to spend 100 hours finding like to
Right,
save you
'cause
like
you know
a dollar.
exactly. You
Yeah.
don't have to. It's just
So,
that
but
I
yes, yeah.
didn't have a person that I could trust
Yes.
to do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I'm saying in
So-
hindsight,
Yeah.
it would be a relief, a breath of fresh air
Yes.
to do it a little
Yeah,
differently.
like
You know what I
use
mean?
that there.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
think about it. With that 100 hours, you could be serving your clients or partnering, saying, hey, how do I raise that $3 million? You
Okay.
could be having coffee, right?
Y'all heard it here.
Because now,
Yeah.
because Mary Lou, she's your, I kind of help out with customer relations as well. But you reach out to us about, hey, how's the project going? I'm building the home. We're on it. We're tracking everything like Seabiscuit. Mary Lou does project management. She knows the code. She's talking to regional.
Yeah.
And that frees that person up, the business owner, to either be finding partnerships or finding clients, or the person that's building a custom home and getting it furnished saying, I'm just going to enjoy my family. Like, I'm going to go to Hawaii and just enjoy myself. I'm going to go network in Breckenridge and, find this person that wants to invest in my franchise or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that can't happen if people are fighting to just do it all themselves. Like,
Yeah.
we got you covered,
So let me ask you this. So we have a looming economic downturn on the horizon. We're not already in the middle of a downward movement right now. This is May 2023, so everybody knows. We know these things happen in cycles, but let's talk about, now for when this happens in the future. What kind of commercial real estate opportunities should people be looking for when we're going into this new type of market? Does it affect commercial real estate values?
Yeah, so
You
that's a great question. So I will answer the question this time, and I get all. I have so much to share.
You answered the question. You agreed with me.
Yeah, exactly. What can you say? That's what I should say.
That's always the way to
So,
say it.
it is tough sledding, right? But at the same time, we just saw uptick on the residential side because people are realizing, especially in Colorado Springs, real estate is hyper local. So I'm mainly going to talk about Colorado Springs, like the Front Range, because what happens in LA, you know, New York, Chicago.
Please give us a commercial real estate market update for here.
Yeah, the market update for commercial real estate is like people realize that population is exploding, you know, due to my wonderful Black Chamber president. You know, me and Mary Lou had the honor of talking to Norwood, which is one of the biggest developers in the daggone state.
Yes.
And they're expecting our city to grow by a third, you know, by 2040. And the sign that our economy is frothy is in and out. They do their research. They have an army of statisticians. They are popping up left and right.
Yeah, in and
The
out.
burger joint.
It's like in and out of what?
Yeah, in and out burger.
And that's a real estate business, really.
They're in the real estate. They own their real estate, like McDonald's.
Yeah.
So these franchises have done their research, and they are popping up left and right. Right. We have a Top Golf in Colorado Springs. Like before, you just had to go to Denver.
Yeah.
They do research before they build those. Right. We have a brand new.
So the potential is here.
Yes, the potential is here. Like, because commercial real estate, you know, like. The thing about commercial real estate, you're not going to get some bargain deals because commercial real estate is mainly at best 10% down with an SBA loan, but normally 20 to 25% down or more. So there's no situation where it's like, oh, I bought too much commercial property, I'm going to sell it half price. It's like, no, I have 25% of that $1 million building, $250,000. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah,
I will
also-
sell my house before I freaking let it go in my building. And stuff like that.
Also, what he mentioned the triple net before. I didn't know this before he got into this building or business, but triple net is so you buy the building, you get a client, your client pays for everything. So basically it's just you own this building and you are paying nothing for it.
Taxes. Taxes, insurance, snow removal.
Yeah, everything.
If like a car runs through these glass windows,
repair, lights.
the tenant's insurance company is paying to repair that, right?
Yeah, so it's not like a rental property in residential where like you're still paying like if the dishwasher breaks or something like that. No, like the business is paying for that.
It's
so
passed on to the leasing or the business company.
Yeah, like the Interquest. Yeah, exactly. Like the Interquest corridor is not getting any cheaper.
Somebody just knocked over another light pole, and I'm like, how many times have they done that? And I was that business.
Exactly.
Put it all on them.
Call the insurance company. But Colorado Springs is hot. Like we have the first Space Force base in our city.
Oh, is that official?
No, yes, it's called the Peterson Space Force Base.
But it's staying here?
Oh, no, not the headquarters is not staying here. But the base is here, and we have billions of dollars in Colorado soil. You can't replicate that in Alabama. Like, so some of the leadership might go out that way. I can't speculate, but for the most
still
part,
working on that.
But but for the most part, all the technology and jobs. Like, I was part of the Space Force. Did a 20-year career. I was in the building. People will retire before they go out to Alabama. So they realize that their tech base is here. So to me, you know, buying property is secure. You know, the money, you have to find out the way make your numbers work, right? Because the cost of money is more expensive. But people are leasing spaces, like things are going like restaurant space, second generation restaurant space. That means there was a restaurant before, it failed, which happens a lot in restaurants. And the next person gets the benefit of that because they get to move in all that infrastructure. Those things are like people are putting offers like day it's listed, full price offers for the lease, and they're gone because they know in a number of days, a design refresh, you can be selling your food to your clients and setting the vibe.
So when do you know when you should lease versus buy space?
So that's a great question, right? So the market is strong. The buying side can be challenging due to renting. But the time to know is like if you have a proof of concept, there's a lot of risk. Even for that investor, even from the Black Chamber, right? I guarantee there's Black Chamber members, right, that have $3 million that they're willing to invest in the right business. But nobody wants to try it for the second time or wants to be the first one. Mm-hmm. But if Kenya says, hey, how many years have you had your
Our spa has been open for 4.5 years.
4.5 years. So if I'm investing money in her business, she wants to open a second branch, I have 4 years of financial records to show how profitable it is. Whereas if I just am a good cook and I want to...
And a lot of times they specifically ask you for 3 to 5 years.
Exactly.
And just correction, I don't want a second space. I just want a bigger new
space. A bigger space. Yeah. I'm just saying. Yeah, exactly. But that being said, like when you have experience, right? Firma IT, how long Firma IT been open?
12 years.
12 years. So if you want to expand and hire another 70 people, whether online, they don't have to be local. Your projections are based on actuals.
Mm-hmm.
So you should probably lease if you're just starting, or unless you have a bucket of capital from your parents, right? Because you open that, say, art studio or that a nail design bar, right? Get it going, make a bunch of revenue, show that you can run a business, and then the opportunity to buy a building. So I love leasing a space for people because somebody leases a space, we help them with the design. I know they're going to buy a building in the future, right?
Yeah.
And so there's nothing wrong with leasing.
Yeah, but that's for a business who wants to lease or buy. But like, what if you're just an investor?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
So I'll touch on that as well. If you're an investor and you're realizing, hey, I want to park capital. I don't trust the guys in New York, right? You know, I'm from New Jersey, 15 minutes from Manhattan, but I still don't trust the guys in New York with my retirement plans, right? Owning your own building is a huge part of your retirement plan. I actually helped a client buy a building. They had a practice, medical doctor had a practice in there, ran it for like 12 years, built the building on raw land. Then they just sold the building, their owner financing, and that's an annuity, right? Because they got a big lump sum of money that's taxable. But if you get a couple $1,000s a month, you can go on your RV, your road trip. And so buying a building helps you control your future. Because if the triple nets, and the price per square foot, say, is like $10,000, $15,000 for like a normal size space in Colorado Springs or out east, 5 years from now, it's not going down, right?
Yeah, right on.
Our city is exploding. So you do get to control your costs.
Yeah.
And you have the opportunity to be a landlord where you say, hey, I can, like the situation with me and Mary Lou, right? We bought a fourplex, lived in one unit, rented out the other three.
Exactly.
You can do the very same thing with commercial property, saying the premium real estate, the best views, the high traffic area, I'm gonna give that to my tenant, right? A tenant, and now that I as a landlord have that profit coming in, and my business will take the small back corner, the space that's hardest to lease, because I know somebody's paying for my investment. Same thing with like residential real estate.
Yeah.
Like this is the time to get deals. Residential is a little bit different, right? Like the sky isn't falling, but people are scared, right? There's loans that are coming due.
Yeah.
And this is an opportunity to get a deal. People are like, oh, I'm gonna wait until the market gets better. The way it works is,
remember how I said in times of economic decline, that's
You
when
buy.
the most opportunities
yes,
are.
this is the time to buy. Yeah.
So it's the same.
Yeah, like-
and I think it's the same commercial or residential
Yeah.
in that regard, right?
Yeah. Well, residential is a little bit more emotional.
True.
Whereas commercial is like, most investors in commercial, they're like been there, done that. Like me and Mary Lou, we lived through the last downturn, so we're not going to throw away our properties. You sit tight, right? And so that's why there are people that overextend themselves, but not as many, because most people, if they're putting up 25%, they're not going anywhere.
Mark, Mary Lou, you guys have been amazing.
Welcome now.
Thank you so much for bringing your knowledge, your expertise, and your gifts to Colorado Springs. Yours has been here for quite some time. Thank you for your service to our country, both of you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
We're going to wrap this up, but the last question I want to ask, why did you decide to join the Black Chamber of Commerce?
Well, we want to be part of the change, right? Like sometimes you look for something in your city, and if you don't see it, you have to either complain and move to Denver or move, to some Atlanta, back home in Atlanta.
ATL, man.
ATL showed
Mhm.
or you can say, I'm going to be part of the change that we need. I'm going to help build something that our city needs, because we want to have our fingerprints, right? Like that design in real estate, it helps actually shape a city, right? Like that meeting with Norwood.
Mhm.
Thank
Thank you,
for that.
Tim. Appreciate you,
Thank
brother.
you, Tim.
Thank you.
So I think that is a perfect closeout note.
Yeah.
Be the change that you want to see. Create the community you want us to be.
Yeah.
Come join us at the Black Chamber. That's what we're doing, y'all.
I love it.
COSBlackChamber.com. Please feel free to like, love, and share this video on our YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in to the Colorado Springs Black.
Mark and Mary Lou.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
very
much.
much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
It was
guys.
a lot of fun.
We'll see you guys soon. Thank you.